Do you guys realize why there isn't any parents in this room? Do you guys ever sit back and ask, where are the parents at? Because I can tell you guys there's a lot of complaining parents out there that don't want to come up here and speak up like some of us do due to the retaliation, due to all the things that our children have to face and go through, due to that they are becoming a target using the restroom peacefully in a peaceful manner, which plenty of UCP complaints have been put into your district these last few couple of weeks that needs to be looked at and considered and accurately determining all the previous complaints after complaints. Why are we not putting a stop? Why are we not holding accountability when accountability needs to be taken action of under every Student Succeed Act? Why are we picking and choosing which students we want on which teams, which student we want to be looked at as far as furthering their education and leaving most of them out? There's no parents in this room because we only get 3 minutes, and not only that, now we have an empty room. So as a stakeholder, this is embarrassing. You guys want to know now why nobody's here? This is why nobody's here. But we hear all the voices out there. They're all afraid to come and stand forward and speak up. But I'm sure one day, there will be justice. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the board at this time? If not, we'll recess into closed session and return at approximately 6:45. Thank you.
Can I just say something? Sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Not really ready. First of all, Mr. Laddie, thank you very much for a response to me from a meeting that we had here. Something that I said, I appreciate giving a response. Really, I think all parents really appreciate that as well. Once again, this is sort of what she talked about. We need more people here. We need more parents involved and stuff. And I brought to you the idea that you meeting at 6 and us meeting at 6:30 without that time in between would really be helpful for the families. Those that are getting home, cooking dinner, getting their kids ready, and then coming to a board meeting. And also it's transparency. This is a meeting where we're all working together to make education better for all kids. And I think that getting rid of that gap and really having us all come together is a really important thing for our district to do. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll recess in the closed session, return at 6:45. Thank you. Back to report. There's no action taken in closed session. Expiration. Ms. Bliss.
Good evening, board members, executive cabinet, President Turlock, and Superintendent Laddie. This evening, I have the pleasure of introducing to you Diana Vasquez, a junior at Roselawn High School. Diana exemplifies positivity in every way. Her smile, her work ethic, and the effort and time that she's made to graduate early as a junior with an overall GPA at Roselawn High School at 3.5. This makes her a standout in classes. She is determined to make Roselawn High School experience a beneficial one. She will graduate this year as a junior and continue at Modesto Junior College, and it is her dream to become a dental hygienist, or quite possibly an orthodontist someday. She has braces, so that kind of started her. Having this well-paying career is important to Diana because one of her favorite things to do is actually to buy and shop for jeans. That is her love item, and currently she has 45 pairs to date. That was a couple of days ago, so I'm not quite sure that a new day it is spring. Her favorite class is math. It didn't always used to be that way. She used to actually struggle Latin math at Roselawn. She would like to say thank you to Mr. Saraseta, Mr. Z, as he was called. We work together and talk a lot about how to do math. It makes it easier and fun. And I've never guessed I actually liked math. Things for Diana weren't always this way. She comes from multiple high schools in different states. While in Las Vegas, was very difficult and cramped. She lived with her grandparents and she felt she couldn't be herself. She was surrounded by cousins and with a household full of at least 10 different people. She was lost. She didn't see a path for herself. Her situation did get better and she was able to move with her mother to Victorville. Unfortunately, she tried to make new friends. However, she saw other kids around her that weren't the best for her. And she started not to care as well. In her words, I was really messing up all over the place and I had to change. Her situation changed for the best when her family was able to move to Turlock. Her mom is her inspiration. She has seen her mom's struggles and her mom has thought through in regards to career, education, and her family. Diana knows that it is because of where she has been that gives her the strength and the perseverance it is that she is a beacon of light. Knowing things and will get better, and she made her want more for herself, and it shows in her smile every day. And this is the reason why Diana radiates positivity in every single day. Unfortunately, Diana, due to a family emergency, cannot be here this evening. However, one of her teachers, especially Mrs. Sylvia, her English teacher, is here to read her inspirational speech. She wanted to make sure that you knew what she's been through and how positive of a person she currently is. Ms. Sylvia?
Well, thank you. It is my honor to be here tonight. My name, again, is Natalie Sylvia, and I am Diana's English teacher. So, here's her speech. Quote, "It's just a bad day, not a bad life," quoted by Mary Engelbreit. I chose this quote because there can be times when you have a bad day and you sometimes want to give up. Not letting one bad day get to you and trying to make the rest of your days even better. We need to realize the good things rather than the bad and have the mindset that if today wasn't good, we can make tomorrow better. Hello, my name is Diana Vasquez. I attend Roseland High School and I am a junior graduating early. Roseland has had a positive impact on my life by providing me the opportunity to help me not only set goals for my future, but I now feel ready to pursue my career goal by becoming a dental hygienist. What is positivity? Positivity is not having negative thoughts and being able to wake up every day with a happy and positive mindset. Although some days may not be the best, and I may feel like giving up sometimes, I push myself to do better. I keep a positive mindset, even on days that aren't so good. There was a time in my life where I didn't have a positive outlook. I felt like giving up. I was at my lowest and I started to let it affect my learning in school. My grades were poor because I would surround myself with peers of similar mindset, which didn't help matters. I got to a point where I was tired of feeling worthless. Every decision I made felt like it wasn't enough. I started to think about my choices and the consequences if I continued down this path. So once I started accepting responsibility for my poor choices, everything changed. I began to have a more positive outlook. I saw that there was more to school than just the schoolwork. I knew that if I wanted to do better and be successful, I'd have to change my mindset. I began to take small steps, like showing positivity to others around me by being respectful and kind and helping people in need. For example, I showed kindness at a time when my friend was very sad and felt like she had no one to rely on. I listened and validated her feelings, making her feel heard and understood. I believe if you show positivity, you will get it in return. I have been fortunate to be surrounded by classmates, parents, and teachers who have shown me assurance. One person who has built my confidence is my mom. My mom never gave up on me and helped me to keep moving forward no matter the circumstances. My mom would say, although things may not be the best right now, and I go through struggles, it will pay off in the end. You can be more positive in many ways. For example, greeting people at work, and helping others in need, spreading kindness all around, even by doing little things that you may think wouldn't matter. I say that positivity should be shown every day, and everyone should have the feeling and thought that everyone can have positivity in life. Many things may not be going well at first, but being patient and having a positive mindset throughout the way can definitely help you get through the rough times. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight on positivity.
Ms. Woods?
It is with great pleasure that I announce our second student of positivity from Roseland High School, Mr. Micah Harmon. He is joined tonight by his brother, Ethan, who's standing right beside him. Micah is truly the first student I have ever had in my career that goes out of his way to say good morning to every adult that he sees. It's like he starts his day with a grateful heart, and is truly ready and thankful for the opportunities that he has. His bus driver has commented many times about Micah. What a thoughtful, nice young man. He brightens people's day just by his presence. He surely is the most positive person that many know at Roseland High School. His favorite class is taught by Mr. Schulke, which is an introduction to computer science with coding and game design. Micah truly loves the fact that he can design things by using technology. And I quote, "That 3D printer, wow, super cool. Just having a creative outlet. I've always wanted to be creative. However, I'm not really good with my hands, but using a computer, I can create things, solve problems, learn how things work. It's just fun." Micah was very worried about coming back to school because of his family's unforeseen financial issues and the unfortunate death of a family member. Micah's family came upon dark times, and with multiple different moves, then living in difficult situations, it made it almost impossible for Micah to attend school. I never thought I would get a chance to go to school again, or even have a high school experience. I was scared, I had panic attacks, and I just plain depressed. I don't think that a future was there for me. I was just lost, like stagnant water. Then, almost 2 years later, Micah came to Turlock High School and arrived at Roseland High School in October. This changed his life forever. I was nervous. I was horrified. I didn't know what to expect. The first time I walked onto campus, but quickly Micah realized this is his home, and he's enjoyed being here ever since. Micah wants to say thank you to a couple of teachers this evening. Mr. Z, again, the math teacher. When asked why he wanted to say thank you, it's because Mr. Z understands me, and he goes at my pace that I need. I feel safe in an environment to make mistakes, and I needed that because I was so far behind in math. Roseland is truly a breath of fresh air for me, and I am happy to be here. In the future, Micah would like to go to college and follow in the footsteps of his late great-grandfather and become a pilot. I don't want to disappoint him, and being in the Air Force or being a commercial pilot would make him proud. Micah wants to travel and quite possibly live out of California, mainly because it's too dang expensive. His future looks bright, and with his continued success, especially with a 3.6 GPA, Micah is well on his way to accomplishing his goals. Ladies and gentlemen, Micah Harmon will now lead us in the flag salute. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Students would like to go forward. Ms. Russell?
Okay, here we go. Ready? One, two, one. And you have a lot.
Well, thank you, Micah. Ms. Sylvia. And Diana. Let's see. I'm sorry. Miss Jackson,
Yes, yeah.
can I do that?
That's okay. I'm gonna read our objectives this evening, and they've been read in a while, I won't, you guys can read the LCAP. Our objectives, students will demonstrate proficiency in all subjects. Students will achieve personal goals tailored to their aspirations for college and career. Students will deliver and demonstrate positive character traits. Students will earn a diploma or successfully complete their individual educational program or IEP.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Let the roll call show that all board members are present. At this time, we can have a motion to approve the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
Second. Moved by Ms. Jackson, seconded by Mr. Shields. This is a roll call vote. Ms. Carlson?
Aye.
Ms. Jackson?
Aye.
Ms. Amy?
Aye.
Ms. Martinez?
Aye.
Ms. Ramirez?
Aye.
Mr. Shields? Aye. And the board president votes aye. Motion carries. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and pull from the community donations, the Turlock High School Talk of the Town from the booster. And we'll proceed on the rest of those. We'll start with Ms. Freeman.
Good evening, Board President, Cabinet, Board of Trustees and Superintendent Dave, and student reps, everyone in attendance. It's recommended that the Board of Trustees accept a donation from Turlock Sunrise Rotary valued at $1,000 for Pittman High School Key Club and also $1,000 for the Civic Leaders of America. And Alice Pollard just told me, who's here representing Sunrise Rotary, that they actually just donated another $1,000 for Civic Leaders of America, and so she wanted me to share that tonight, but it is not on our board agenda. Anyways, again, our public continues to give back to us and do great things for our students, so I just would like to thank them. So Alice, I don't know if you're coming up.
I'm outnumbered by Kawana.
They sing too, Alice, in case you wanna sing.
I will sing if you want me to clear the room.
Okay, anyway, we're always happy to donate to our local schools, and so, I also wanna add that, the students, the Key Club and the CLA also help with our crab feed, that's our big fundraiser for the year. And so, to be equal opportunity, we also had Turlock High School and Pittman High School help, so thank you for loaning your students to us, they did a great job, and we are always happy to donate to any needy cause. Take care.
Just what I wanted.
Great support. Next, Ms. Freeman.
Okay, thank you. I would like to say, and when we talk to all of our community members that give back, I always tell them, don't forget to ask us for help too, because we can donate time. We don't donate money, but we donate time. And so I love that our students, along with Turlock High School, and helped with that, the crowd feed for Sunrise Rotary. It's also recommended that the Board of Trustees accept a donation from Kiwanis of Greater Turlock, our Pittman High School wrestling program, $1,160. And then also Pittman High School, our spring drama production, Hades Camp, which is, opening day is April 3rd. So that's coming up, so I'm sure you guys will be going to that. I do have some of my students from drama that wanted to come up and just kind of say thank you, if that's okay. Okay, perfect.
Hello, my name is Ana Cuevas, and I'm the president of the Pittman Theater and Thespian Club. We just wanted to say thank you, Kiwanis, for your generous donations and your support for our theater department at Pittman High School. While we have a chance, we wanted to also promote our upcoming spring musical, Hadestown. We highly encourage to please come support our show. Thank you.
Yeah, but let me just do a picture real quick of the kids up here. And if you guys wanna see our Instagram, I think Miss Arina is on there today, for Chicago. All right. Okay, ready, and 1, 2, 3. Ready, and 1, 2, 3, all right.
Thank you guys.
Thank you very much. Next, Dr. Klein.
Good evening, President Silva, members of the Board of Trustees, Superintendent Laddick, cabinet members, student representatives. As always, we're very pleased by the support we get from the community and the Kiwanis Club. Always very grateful. They donated to several different areas. I'm going to read those off. We have the Turlock High School Key Club, $280. Turlock High School Renaissance Club, $1,205. We have the Turlock High School Speech and Debate Club, $500. Turlock High School Girls Softball, $400. And Turlock High Renaissance Club, $500. All plan to use the money for incentives, celebrations, recognition, and travel. So, we want to recognize our Kiwanis Club for continuous support.
Ms. Russell, do you want to?
We're gonna do it at the end.
Do it at the end,
Yeah.
okay? Next is Mr. Juarez, Turlock Junior High.
Good evening, trustees, Superintendent Laddick, and members of the community. We sincerely would like to thank Kiwanis Club of Greater Turlock for the generous support to Team Turlock Junior High School Athletics. Their partnership with our athletic director, Todd Bellman, and our coaches has greatly beneficiated our student athletes, providing them with valuable opportunities to grow and succeed. On behalf of Turlock Junior High, we recommend that the Board of Trustees accept a $2,400 donation from the Kiwanis Club of Greater Turlock for our athletic program. And then secondly, we'd also like to express our gratitude to FL Consulting, who's not here today, but their generous donation of $500 to our band program. This money will go to support and enhancement of opportunities for our students. On behalf of Turlock Junior High, we recommend the Board of Trustees accept these donations.
Thank you. Next, Ms. Russell. Ms. Russell, I'm sorry.
I always forget that I'm making the PowerPoint and speaking, but I'd like to thank Kiwanis of Greater Turlock for the $660 they helped us earn for the Ivy League project for the tri-tip fundraiser. I was in charge of the meat, and so if you got a dinner, it was for me. And then I'm looking at Turlock Junior High School, I'm realizing that Todd Feldman did much better than me because he was right there next to me delivering that meat. So on behalf of the Ivy League project, I'd like to recommend this donation be accepted by the Board of Trustees. And I think we're finally ready for pictures. I think.
I think so. Thank you.
I don't know. Right up here in the front. Fine. A few more showed up since our tree picture, huh? Or did I get everybody outside? Did I get everybody outside? That's okay, we'll take it. No, they can go in there. Jump on in. Dave can come up and Juan, they can in front. Dave, fine, or Dave? Yeah. Let him.
Your knees are a little bit better
I made one of the kids.
Oh, we're so like.
Nope.
Yeah, it's on the website.
Well, I mean, you couldn't cover him up.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again for all the participants.
Have a great birthday. Very true. I think you can get a good night. I'm doing great things. You can go the next one.
I waited until you said yeah.
Folks, at this time, I'd like to call up Kathy, Joe, Kathy, Jared, and Dylan Bernardi. If you can come up here, please. I also wanted to invite our
Of the Be Positive donations. This year, like Nick mentioned, baseball, cheer, track and field, the improvements to the training room, And then in addition, in May, seniors at Pittman and Turlock, and apparently now we need to do Roselawn as well, will be awarded $1,000 scholarships. It's estimated over the last 9 years that we have, that Turlock High School, or Turlock Unified High School, has been on the receiving end of over $30,000 from the Caleb Bernardi Deposit Foundation. We're also always very proud to see students and staff participate in the run and walk. And also, it's always a great feeling to see Be Positive gear being worn around town and at school. Every March, on March 8th, corresponding with Caleb's passing, THS always helps us turn the campus and the town pink in her honor. And that's the day that we use to, and many of our friends are busy bees, hand out money and pass out checks around the community. So we just want to thank you. We want to thank what this town has given back to us and our family, and that we're able to give back to Turlock High School, Turlock Unified School District. Thank you.
You gotta take a picture in front of Kayla. That's just
What a great way to memorialize this young lady. This is great.
Just kind of bring it in. We'll try to do a vertical one too.
Get in there, Marion.
Marion.
Come on, Marion.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay.
Not yet.
Special announcement. You can. Okay. All right. Ready and 1, 2. Not yet. No pressure. 1, 2. Okay. Let me do one vertical one if that's okay. Okay. Ready and 1, 2. Okay.
That was Dylan and Oliver.
I think it was some kind of big announcement. The other one.
The community is truly blessed. Thank you, everyone, for this fine recognition. If we could have the board, I'll be going to approve the recommendations. Good job. Thank you, Davey. Thank you very much. We're good. Okay. I'll move to accept the recommendations. I'm sorry. Mr. Shields, moved. Second by Mr. Ramirez. This is a roll call vote. No, this is a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Board President votes aye. Motion carries. Again, thank the community very much. Next, we have Ms. Bliss again for a presentation on Roselawn.
So this evening, I have 2 teachers to help me with the presentation. We have Miss Maria Esteva Scott and Natalie Silva. So you guys come too. And then they're gonna be here helping out.
Okay, did you know that Roselawn started as a one-room schoolhouse out on Roselawn Avenue in 1912? It became a high school in 1975. We moved to our new location on Kilroy Road in December of 2020. Good evening, board members, administrators, and attendees. My name is Maria Esteva Scott. I am the resource specialist at Roselawn High School. I have been at Roselawn since the late fall of 2001. I began my position as a resource teacher in the fall of 2002. That makes me, according to the kids, the OG. I have personally seen a lot of changes at Roselawn, but one thing that remains constant is that the staff at Roselawn works hard to help those dragons succeed. Whether that is from them to graduate at Roselawn or for them to get back on track and return and graduate at their comprehensive high school. We do this by attending professional development, working collaboratively, and working hard to develop and build positive relationships. Okay. Okay, we strive to help our students actively learn and grow. Our school is small but mighty. We try to give our students the opportunity to learn about who they are and what they can become. Our team includes our principal, academic counselor, career navigator, 2 secretaries, 2 campus supervisors, 3 bilingual paraprofessionals, 1 special education paraprofessional, custodian, cafeteria workers, mental health clinician, and 11 teachers. We offer courses in English, math, science, social studies, physical education, health, art, yearbook, journalism, criminal justice, Edgenuity, and our new courses are health career classes and the design thinking and computer science. The Dragons have participated in art shows and even worked on a mural at the Carnegie Art Center. You haven't seen it? You should probably see it. We held our career day in early November. We have had Modesto Junior College and Merced College present and help our students with admissions and FAFSA workshops. We will be having a job fair with Turlock Adult School in April. Our staff nominate students for Student of the Month that attend Rotary Lunch with our principal. In November, we held our very first Friendsgiving. Staff served pies to our students after lunch. Our school was invited to a few tournaments this year in volleyball and basketball. Next up, softball. Roseanne was awarded 3rd place in Stanislaus County Red Ribbon Week Best Decorated Most Spirited Schools Contest. And that's all the high schools and schools in the county. Our math teacher celebrated National Pie Day last Friday, where our Dragons got a chance to earn a personal pie at lunch. Many of our classes have hands-on activities, building bottle rockets in science, and the math students are out there measuring the trajectories and heights of the rockets. Art and photography provide their talents for art shows. Our criminal justice class learning self-defense and guest speakers in law enforcement. Our new courses in health careers and computer science. Dragons have earned certificates in basic life support. This morning, as I arrived at school, I found out that one of our substitute teachers was a former Roseanne student. I told him I was going to include him in my speech tonight, and he said, "Mention my brother too. He's an engineer at TID." It made me smile. I was very, very nervous to do this presentation, and I took to social media to ask for positive vibes. And I found this from a former Roseanne grad and thought, what a perfect way to end this presentation. He said, "Roseanne gives hope to those of us who had nowhere else to go. If it wasn't for Roseanne and my amazing teachers, my life would look very different than it does now, not in a good way." He went on to tell me he loved me and that I had this. And people ask me why I'm at Roseanne. Who wouldn't?
Well, thank both of you for this great program and recognition for these fine students. Thanks again, and thanks for all you do. Superintendent's report.
I just wanted to piggyback on some of those amazing things that Assistant Scott shared. I had the chance to meet with Roseanne students today, including Micah this morning, Ms. Bliss, and some of Micah's peers for our Scholar Senate. It's just simply amazing the relationships that the sense of belonging and support our students feel at Roseanne. So I just want to echo some of those kind words and just express my appreciation for the connections you make with students like Micah and those who share with me at the Scholar Senate today. So thank you. Well, we know that there's a math adoption coming up, and we've been investing significantly in a new MathWorks, math framework that John and Shelley have been leading with a group of elementary and secondary teachers in a series of math framework trainings. This committee's work resulted in a new TUSD math vision statement and action plan for increasing math outcomes, and those are priorities when viewing new math curriculum. TUSD's new math vision states all learners will engage in diverse, mathematical, standards-based problem-solving tasks centered on real-world connections within an inclusive environment that promotes productive struggle, curiosity, collaboration, and intellectual risk-taking to become empowered members of their community. That's a pretty huge vision there. I love it. Love the work. Thank you, John and Shelley, for that work. My cabinet team and I held our quarterly certificated and classified forums with representatives from each school site. These are valuable sessions which allow us to provide updates directly to site reps and also hear some very positive things happening at our schools while also addressing any concerns or answering questions. These conversations have been very productive and extensive, as we often find needing more time to share information. Topics discussed during these most recent forums include the LCAP, construction, facilities, including restrooms, FTEs, intervention, radios, PBIS, open house, state testing, interdistrict transfers, and sub-coverage. Like I said, we do cover a lot of diverse topics during these sessions. It's very informative for all. I want to just highlight some of the large student events that we held this last week or that our students participated in. I'm going to start with Occupational Olympics at the county, or at the Stanislaus County Fairgrounds. I tallied up some of this data, and I'm sorry, our student reps, if you were going to highlight some of these, but I got to attend this along with some of our governance team was also in attendance. There were 18 events at the Occupational Olympics, and we had students placing first, second, or third, or in some cases first, second, and third in 9 of those 18 events. So I think we should give a round of applause for our students. Just incredible hands-on experience and opportunities for our students. I'll just share real quickly. In ag engineering and construction trades, we swept first, second, and third. In ag equipment technology, we took first and second. In basic life support CPR first aid, we took first and second. In medical occupations, we took first and third. In Pittsco drag racing lightweight class, we took first. In the heavyweight class, we swept first, second, and third. In design, we took first. In salad prep and display, we took first and second. And in welding, we took first. And overall, the large school award went to Turlock High School. So again, major accomplishments. Our students showing. One extra point I'd like to highlight is Mohini Sing's program won the overall culinary arts first place for the 7th year in a row, showcasing a vertical crab salad, a lobster salad, and a burrata pear salad with torched pears. What do you call it? You braise them or whatever, yeah. They were fantastic. They looked amazing. And I had to keep Anthony out when he's going to take some home, but I was able to hold him back. Regarding the festival on the green, what a tremendous event for our community to come out and see the talent of our young musicians. Just amazing work that our music educators do. I caught Sarah Carpenter on the way out after the band session, kind of in the middle of the day, and I said, "Calling it a day." And I says, "No, I'm going to Enoch's for a competition." So again, I just want to say thank you to the work they put in, even on all-day Saturday events for our students. Had a great conversation with Ruben Modesto about the excitement, the energy behind our new mariachi programs. They're just thriving right now, and to see the energy behind those performances and the passion for it. And Ruben shared with me that he is an instructor for mariachi at the CHU Stanislaus, which was pretty fantastic. It is also my pleasure to announce that TUSD has 2 finalists for the Stanislaus County Teacher of the Year Award. Wakefield kindergarten teacher Edith Barraza and Pittman High School English teacher Katie Jeans. Edith is one of 3 finalists in the grades TK through 3rd division, and Katie is one of 3 finalists in the 9-12 division. If selected as the winner, they'll move on to consideration for the state teacher. That concludes my report.
Fantastic report, Mr. Laddie. Our kids are doing great. Staff, student reports. Ms. White? Pittman High School?
Good evening, Interim Superintendent Laddick, Board President Silva, and members of the board. Here's what's new at the Pride. ASB is hosting our annual Pittman's Got Talent Rally on Friday. There are 12 acts showcasing a variety of fun talents. This week, ASB will be celebrating St. Patrick's Day with our lucky leprechaun on campus. Our class presidents are taking turns dressing up and passing out surprises to our staff and students. ASB is also showing who we are lucky to have by sharing social media posts submitted by students, staff, and students. Additionally, Mia Peterson and Riley Rice have been captivating the beauty of Women's History Month with a very special celebration with our female staff members sharing pictures of their younger selves with advice they would give to younger you. This week is also Culture Week, which will be celebrated by our culture clubs hosting activities during lunchtime to educate us on their diverse cultures. They will focus on language, traditions, and food. Last Thursday, we had several students participate in the annual Occupational Olympics. The following students placed. For salad prep, we had first place Peyton Williams, second place Luis Figueroa, and sixth place Michaela Jeffcoats. For welding, we had first place Alex Inez. For ag engineering and construction trades, we had fourth place Ada Benavides and fifth place Isaac Madriga. For basic life support, we had fourth place Omar Madriz and Amir Wahid. For criminal justice, we had fifth place Dominic Crawford and sixth place Christian Holman and seventh place Angelina Halleck. And lastly, we had sixth place Hannah Laforte for animal husbandry. Tickets are now on sale for Pittman's Theater Department's spring musical production of Hadestown Teen Edition. Did you know Pittman Theater was selected nationally to be one of the first programs granted licensing for this musical? In early 2024, a teen edition of the musical was announced, and U.S. high schools had the opportunity to apply for performance rights for the 2024-25 school year. Pittman Theater submitted the work of last year's spring musical, Chicago Teen Edition, and was selected from a pool of national applicants. Directed by Patrick Norris with music direction by Johan Parton and choreography by Maggie Snipen. The cast, creative team, and crew have been working on this beautiful project since early October, and we can't wait to share it with our Pride community, April 3rd through 12th. Tickets are $15 and available via gofan.com only. This Saturday, CLA is going to the Spring State Conference where two teams will be sent to pick a certain article of the U.S. Constitution that they want to add or repeal. Then we'll put together a 10-minute presentation fighting their case. The teams consist of the following members: Madiha Haderi, Nadia Haderi, Blake Kramer, Bella Ford, Kayla Thompson, Dante Jenkins, and Emerson Newman. This afternoon, we had two members receive agricultural scholarships for their future educational endeavors from the Turlock Chamber of Commerce. Congratulations to Elijah Rhodes and Riley Rice. For the next few weeks, we will be participating and organizing several recruitment days at Kroll, Wakefield, Brown, Maderos, Dutcher, and TJHS. These days are full of fun activities as well as information regarding the FFA Club and ag classes. Towards the end of the month, we will be leading into the FFA State Conference, where we will be fortunate enough to have Mrs. Freeman, Mr. Agat, and Mr. Silva in attendance with us for the administrative conference. We will also be taking 17 members to enjoy the weekend full of keynote speakers and workshops hosted by college students. Two of our members will also be competing in 2 state-level awards. Escara Velasquez will be competing for the state title in the El Credo Gold Division, and Riley Rice will be interviewing as a finalist for a state scholarship. This Monday, SHSS kicked off Pittman's Culture Week by tabling with the PHS Club during lunch. To share some Punjabi culture, SHSS handed out crunchy chickpea and veggie-based fritters. Pittman students seem to enjoy the snack. Spring sports are in full swing at Pittman with baseball, softball, track and field. Swim, boys tennis, boys golf, and boys volleyball are starting competitions these past couple weeks. Baseball picked up 2 wins in their final pre-league games as they defeated Tracy and East Union last week. The boys started league play this week with a 3-game series versus Enochs. Boys volleyball is off to a great start, 10-5 overall, as they won their league opener last week over Turlock. The tennis team also won their league opener last week over Downey and have an overall record of 6-0. Track and field competed in the Stanislaus County Champions and Brush/Soft Showcase the past 2 weekends, and many athletes collected PRs in their respective events. Plenty of events this week on campus with baseball at home on Wednesday, softball at home on Thursday, and swimming at home on Friday. This concludes my student report for the evening. Thank you, and roll call.
Thank you, Ms. Rice. Excellent. And congratulations.
Good evening, Interim Superintendent Lede, President Silva, and members of the board. Thank you for the opportunity to share the events and accomplishments happening at Turlock High School. ASB. Last week we held our ASB elections. We had a busy couple of weeks with the campaigning and election activities. We had a record number of candidates running for office and a great turnout in voting. We would like to congratulate our new ASB officer team president, Maddie Lino, Vice President Cooper Pacheco, Secretary Sofia Cardenas, Treasurer Isaac Contreras, School Board Rep Kate Williams, Spirit Leaders Gladden Ruin and Levi Purdy, and Bumpus had 22 entries this year. Also, this new year we designed a new limited edition Bumpus t-shirt. Everyone has entered Kit Car received one and a limited amount for sale. All other ASB positions and applications will be out this week and will in for league room leader applications. Co-curricular activities. Turlock Coastal has over 120 students attending and competing in 3 events: medical occupations, BLS, and career booth. We had Turlock Coastal Basic Life Support winners taking first place senior Sarah Galvin and Summer Diaz, and second place juniors Valeria Ramirez and Ashley Vele, fifth place Gisela Lopez, and eighth place seniors Danalia Hernandez and Jacqueline Reynoso, with over 90 competitors in basic life support. Medical occupations competition over 100 competitors. Turlock Coastal swept with first place junior Landon Tilby and third place freshman Caleb Staley. THS third had also a very successful donation drive, taking over 400 pieces of clothing. Yearbook and newspaper traveled to Dutcher Middle School and Turlock Junior High to recruit for the 2025-2026 school year. Congratulations to Proud Joe Carr for competing in speech and debate and national qualifier over the weekend and placing first place, which earned her a spot in nationals in the congressional debate. The THS counseling team has met with the 9th through 11th grades to schedule next year's classes. The counseling team visited Turlock Junior High School on Monday and Dutcher Middle School today to provide 8th graders with pretentious about high school registration and held the elective showcase at lunchtime. Our both sites showcase exciting programs that offer at THS. We're also preparing for freshman orientation that will be held on March 20th in the Bulldog Arena. This past weekend, the Bulldog NGR3C Air Rifle Team members performed exceptionally well at the Cal State CMP Championship. James Killar placed 3rd individual overall in State of California. Mauricio Madrigal placed 6th individual overall in State of California. Israel Marquez placed 3rd individual prone, and also NGR2C Academic placed 4th out of 28 schools in Northern California, Area 22. Brain Brawl Championships, and the team includes Sarah Hansen, Adeline Ike, John Barbagallo, William Barbagallo, Scarlett Cathana Diaz. Great job, Bulldogs. On March 10th, Turlock High FAST students participated in the Young Quest, a day where students met with other staters to discuss the dangers of tobacco and vape productions that are targeted towards youth in our community. Turlock FFA is going to full throttle spring activities. 2 of our seniors had an opportunity to spend 4 days at the Sacramento Leadership Experience where top 75 senior students from across the state stepped into the shoes of real legislators, engaging in hands-on experiences that bring legislative process to life. SLE takes place in the heart of California's capital, giving members the unique opportunity to debate bills with industry professionals, develop the understandings who policies impact agriculture. There are 4 students who are representing Turlock FFA at the state level and many subcategories at the Cal State FFA Convention in April. Central Region Star Farmer Morgan John, state finalist. Central Region Acquire Internship Betsy Dice. Central Region El Creo, 2nd place Gianna Gonzalez, state finalist. 4th place Ashley Romo Moran, 4th place state finalist. Central Region Impromptu Speaking, 1st place Latin Pride, and 4th place Maya Barlow, state finalist. Turlock FFA has been challenged to several contests this past week and has several teams placing on the top 10 in several events. Finally, we would like to congratulate our own Olivia Berletta, who is stated to South Area Vice President of the Central Region. She will be presenting our chapter in the Central Region FFA meeting on Saturday, March 22nd in Merced. For sports, boys students have had an amazing start with winning a 9-0 against Mohi in their season opener, and today they played against Downey with another 9-0. Go Bulldogs! Thank you, and it's my pleasure to here to present Turlock High School.
And I missed your name, Samantha Enriquez. Good report, thank you. Announcements. Thursday, March 20th, Turlock High School Frosh Orientation, 6 p.m. Monday, March 24th, Pittman High Frosh Orientation. And Tuesday, April 1st, Turlock Unified School District meeting PDF here at this site. It'll be live streamed. Next is the consent calendar. Are there any questions about the consent calendar? Any questions from the public about the consent calendar? Here's your chance. Anyway, okay, if I could have a motion.
Move to accept the consent calendar?
I second.
Moved by Ms. Carlson, seconded by Ms. Ramirez. Debbie, I wrote it down here and I didn't look at my notes. I screwed it up. I'm sorry. Well, I have mental block on that. So again, moved by Ms. Carlson, seconded by Ms. Martinez. This is a roll call vote. Ms. Carlson?
Aye.
Ms. Jackson?
Aye.
Ms. Amy?
Aye.
Ms. Martinez?
Aye.
Ms. Ramirez?
Aye.
Mr. Shields? Aye. And Board President votes aye. Motion for the consent calendar passed. Next is finance and accountability. Ms. Bittencourt, on item 22, certification of second interim report.
Good evening, President Silva, members of the board, and Dave. Tonight, I am here to present the second interim budget report, which is a snapshot in time of the district's revenue and expenditure forecasts for the current year, as well as a projection for the 2 subsequent fiscal years. The basis for the actuals to date financial information presented is the income and expenditure data from July 1, 2024 through January 31, 2025. The governor's budget represents an increase of approximately $7.5 billion in Prop 98 guarantee funding over the 3-year period relative to the 2024 Budget Act. However, the budget proposes to provide only $117.6 billion for education programs in 24-25 instead of the current calculated Prop 98 level of $119.2 billion for that year. The 25-26 budget includes $118.9 billion in Prop 98 funding for all TK through 12 programs for continued fiscal stability to meet the obligations to TK-12 education. The major TK-12 funding provisions in the 25-26 governor's budget are as follows. The funded COLA to the LCFF, special education, and several other categorical programs outside of LCFF is 2.43%. $2.4 billion in ongoing funding to support the full implementation of universal transitional kindergarten and an accumulated amount of $1.5 billion in ongoing funding to support lowering the average student to adult ratio from 12:1 to 10:1 in every TK class. ELAP includes $435 million in ongoing funds for full implementation of the program, increasing LEAs that offer universal access to students from those with an unduplicated pupil percentage of at least 75% to those with at least 55%. $1.8 billion in one-time funding for the Student Support and Professional Development Discretionary Block Grant to address rising costs to fund statewide priorities, including PD for teachers on the ELA and math frameworks, teacher recruitment and retention strategies, and career pathways and dual enrollment. And $378.6 million in one-time funding to support the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant through 27-28. Although the governor's budget fully funds the estimated COLA and avoids cuts to ongoing education programs, the financial impact of the devastating wildfires in Southern California, absenteeism due to immigration concerns for families, and potential federal policy and funding changes with the new administration bring a risk of state budget shortfalls in future years. Given these risks and based on guidance from several, Turlock Unified did not budget any of the potential increases included in the budget other than the statutory COLA. Well, thank you if you just helped me. Sorry about that. Okay. General fund revenue comes from 3 major sources: state government, federal government, and local sources. A majority of our revenue, which is about 75%, comes from the local control funding formula,
which I will discuss more in detail on the next slide. Federal revenue, such as your Title 1 through 4 programs, ELOP, and specific grants, as well as other state revenue, such as special education, lottery, and one-time grants, are funds received from the state and federal government for special purposes or targeted specific student groups. These are mostly restricted funds and may only be used for the purpose for which they are awarded. Final source of revenue comes from local sources, which are primarily restricted grants for programs such as our after-school program, TUPE, NAMI, Medi-Cal, Strong Workforce, as well as fee-for-service and interest income. The current operating budget has been revised since first interim to reflect our P1 average daily attendance, our adjusted unduplicated pupil count, an overstatement of ESSER revenue, which was counted in 2 years and we had to back it back out, and interest. So the LCFF provides grade span specific base grants based on ADA that reflect adjustments for K through 3 class sizes and 9 through 12 education. Additionally, supplemental and concentration grants are awarded based on the district's unduplicated pupil percentage. As a reminder, unduplicated pupils are either English learners, socioeconomically disadvantaged, or foster youth. Supplemental grants are equal to 20% of the adjusted base grant multiplied by the ADA and the total unduplicated percentage. Concentration grants are equal to 65% of the adjusted base grant multiplied by the ADA and the unduplicated pupil percentage that exceeds 55%. The district has an unduplicated pupil percentage of 71.16% for 24-25 based on recently certified CalPADS reports. For LCFF calculations, we are required to use a 3-year rolling average, which is 71.05%. The district's total LCFF entitlement is summarized on this chart with the dollar amounts including the combined entitlement for both TUSD and E-Academy charter. As a reminder, these are the unrestricted components of LCFF and do not include the approximately $2.8 million that we receive as a pass-through from our SELPA, which is why this total differs slightly from the previous slide. The district certified enrollment of 13,488 students and 114 charter students for a total of 13,602 students for 24-25. This represents a 0.8% increase of non-charter students and a 28.9% decrease of charter students from the previous year. Enrollment numbers were updated using data from the first Wednesday in October. Which is Census Day, or if you're old school like me, CBEDS Day. The district uses a 5-year rolling average cohort projection template to project enrollment, and maintaining inter-district transfers are included in these projections. As a reminder, school districts are funded based on the greater of current year, prior year, or the average of the most 3 prior years' average daily attendance. For that reason, student enrollment and attendance are critical components to district's revenues. TUSD uses a 3-year cohort average to project average daily attendance for future years. At period 1, TUSD and E-Academy submitted ADA of 12,763.74 and 108.43 respectively. The district spends a majority of its funds on personnel costs, which are salary and benefits. Approximately 79% of the district's total expenditures are committed to employee costs. Other expenditures include books and supplies, services and other operations, capital outlay, which are your equipment purchases and repairs, and other outgoes such as charges paid to outside agencies for bus transportation for special needs students and non-public school costs. Salaries and benefits have increased at second interim due to budgeting for summer school expenditures. Services have increased from first interim because of special education fee for service and contracts for our ELOP program. Capital outlay expenditures increased from first interim because of budgeting Earl's Elementary School roof project that was discussed at the last board meeting. Employer contribution rates to the state teachers retirement system and public employees retirement assistance have again increased significantly over the last 10 years. However, because of K through 12 declining enrollment, STR's contribution rates are predicted to level out. Based on the most recent actuarial study, PERS rates for employers are projected to continue to increase, although not as drastically as once projected. Rates in 24-25 have maintained for CalSTRS and increased 0.37% for CalPERS. Rates for future years are estimates and subject to change based on determination of the respective governing boards. While CalSTRS is projected to maintain at 19.10%, CalPERS rates are projected to increase over 1.45% by 27-28. So the current and projected rates are shown on this slide. And this chart illustrates the effective increasing retirement costs based on current district salaries. The increase in STRS and PERS for 24-25 results in an approximately $2.49 million 1-year increase for pension contributions for TUSD. This results in a total approximate cost of $32 million in employer contributions this year. With that review of our revenue and expenditures, it brings us to the summary of our 24-25 general fund budget. Components of the ending fund balance include revolving cash and stores totaling $400,000 approved for ongoing operational needs. Additionally, administration has assigned approximately $19 million in lottery funds for textbook adoptions and related instructional materials. This budget also includes transfers of $1 million to the district renovation account. The 24-25 enacted budget included withdrawals from the public school system stabilization account, which eliminated the reserve cap requirement for the 24-25 budget period. So we are back to a state that the state requires at least a 3% reserve level for a district our size. But board policy states that 5% is the district's minimum reserve level. As a reminder, reserves are one-time funds that cannot support ongoing expenditures. The district's 24-25 unrestricted general fund reserves are expected to be at about $27.1 million, equating to 9.93%. The district is required to prepare multi-year projections for the budget year and the 2 subsequent fiscal years. The multi-year projections were prepared based on factors using the Stanislaus County Office of Education 24-25 Second Interim Common Message Report, School Services of California's dartboard, and FCMAT's LCFF calculator. And as a reminder, multi-year projections are not financial forecasts and are not meant to predict what reserve levels will be in 3 years. Financial forecasts would attempt to predict future financial decisions in order to predict reserve levels, where multi-year projections should be used to assist in understanding the future effects of current economic decisions, conditions, and decisions. Under the budget assumptions included in the second interim report, administration projects that the district will be able to meet its financial obligations with a 10.35% and 9.13% reserve in the 2 subsequent fiscal years. As far as next steps, Governor Newsom will release the May revise on or by May 15th, where we will get an indication of his policies and priorities for the state as a whole and for K through 12 education specifically. The May revise to the 25-26 budget will be the basis for our initial budget assumptions for 25-26. The tentative budget and LCAP will be brought to the board on June 3rd and then for adoption on June 17th. At this point in the fiscal year, the district is in sound financial condition. Some of these assumptions used in this report may change in the coming months with the release of the governor's May revise or any updates to LCFF calculation assumptions. Financial projections will be updated as new information is released. Based on this second interim report, it is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve a positive certification that TUSD will be able to meet its financial obligations for the current year and 2 subsequent years. May I answer any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Bittencourt, for the good information, excellent information. Are there any questions from Ms. Carlson?
Thank you very much, Ms. Bedford. I have a question and a comment. You said at the beginning about the TK add-on, so dropping from the 12:1 to a 10:1 ratio. That's amazing. I'm all for smaller class sizes. But am I remembering correctly that there has not been funding for building the facilities that we're gonna put the TK students in?
Yes, I can't remember how many years ago, so don't quote me on it, but there was a facilities planning grant that did get cut for it was UPK at the time, Universal Pre-Kindergarten. So yes, and then this add-on that they're talking about for TK, so yes, you're right, they cut the funding for that, there's no funding for the facilities for TK. The additional funding that they are talking about to reduce the student to teacher ratio is again a proposal at this time. It is not guaranteed at this point. All that is right now is the specific LCFF funding that's already in the LCFF formula. We have been cautioned as to whether that lump sum will be added on once the enacted budget is in place.
Sure, and it's all kind of a guessing game, I realize at this point anyway, yeah.
Yeah, yes, that's why all of those nice proposals that are in the 25, 26, again, are just proposals at this time. So we did not base any of those into our budget, just the COLA, that's the only thing.
Yeah, which I love your fiscally conservative time there, I really appreciate that. And I was just gonna say, my comment is on this pension costs, slide, I joined the board in 2015. So it was way down here, this little amount of money, and we were looking ahead to 25, 26, like with this, what are we gonna do? And we're there. And we had to cut staff. And so I just wanna say, I get the CSBA, news summary, and the districts are, there was a school district that their school board meeting went till 3 a.m. because they were making decisions about what staff members were gonna be cut. And it was like a sit-in, and students were, crying and had their sleeping bags, and it was awful. And I'm so glad that's not our district. I feel like we have had really fiscally conservative policy, and we're not in a situation that a lot of other school districts are in for various reasons. But that's one of them. And so I just appreciate that, that history and that continued policy that we have. And also I appreciate and just want to remind everybody that you're the messenger, right? You're not the one who puts the budget together. And that's the end of my comments. Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the board?
I'm just waiting for May. I think that's gonna be our big.
From the public? Ms. Bittencourt, thank you very much for your great information, appreciate it.
Can we give her? Oh, should we do it?
Do we have to?
Please,
I'm sorry, I shouldn't joke about this.
I'll move to approve the financial.
I say.
Moved by Mr. Shields, seconded by Ms. Ramirez. And this is a roll call vote. Ms. Carlson.
Aye.
Ms. Jackson.
Aye.
Ms. Amy.
Aye.
Ms. Martinez.
Aye.
Ms. Ramirez.
Aye.
Mr. Shields.
Aye.
And the board president votes aye, motion carries. Thank you all. Okay, next item is educational services, action item. Ms. Huerta, item 23. Thank you very much for being here to help us with this.
Good evening, Board President Silva, board members, Superintendent Gladick, small cabinet, colleagues and guests. I was here March 4th, and I presented the Head Start Program Community Assessment, which describes the state of our community and the families we serve. Additionally, the community assessment highlights the strength of our program and identify the needs of our community as it pertains to Turlock Head Start. Tonight, it is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the Turlock Head Start Program Community Assessment 2024-2025.
Any questions from the board? From the public? Do you have a motion?
I motion.
Moved by Ms. Ramirez. Moved by Ms. Martinez. Seconded by Ms. Ramirez. You just gotta slap.
We just need to, I just need to sit over here.
No. This is a roll call vote. Ms. Carlson. Ms. Jackson.
Aye.
Ms. Amy.
Aye.
Ms. Martinez.
Aye.
Ms. Ramirez.
Aye.
And Board President votes aye. Motion carries. Okay, we're up again for item 26. This is a information action item. All yours.
Thank you. I have a summary presentation of the Head Start Monitoring Review. The Thomas County Office of Education conducts a comprehensive program review every other year, assessing all program components. In alternating years, only areas found out of compliance are reviewed. The monitoring review from SCOE team consists of experts in various component areas. Our team early education, it includes program staff, district departments, and parents. This year the review was in person. All Head Start sites were reviewed. The program was reviewed back on December 11 to the 13th. This you see here are the 8 component areas that were reviewed back in December. A minimum of 20% of child family files are reviewed. If more than 10% are found out of compliance, it becomes an area of concern. If 20% or more are out of compliance, it becomes a level 2. 50% or more become a level 1 finding out of compliance, and that means out of compliance with a federal or a state regulation. There's some items that are 0% threshold, and that is immediate safety and supervision of our students and physical services. The last day of our review, we receive our results, and then we are required to put together a plan of action for any findings that are level 1, level 2, or any concerns. So here are the results of our monitoring review for 24-25. On component area, program design and quality improvement, we received 2 areas of concern. Under record keeping, under family referrals, and 1 under human resources. So under family referrals, some of the referrals for parent education, child screenings, and parent conferences were not properly recorded or counted as referrals or tagged with the incorrect referral reason. For under human resources, the Head Start background clearance policy was not fully adhered for all substitute staff. Specifically, 2 substitute employees did not obtain the required Child Abuse Center INS CACI clearance prior to their hire as mandated. Please note that all early education staff at time of the review, we were all in compliance, all our permanent staff. And also to note that no findings level 1 or level 2 were found during this review. Only the 2 concerns that I could review. So here's our corrective plan of action. Under family and community, family service workers will conduct staff monitoring to ensure data is accurately entered under the appropriate category. We will conduct monthly monitoring during our family service workers meetings to verify that all family referrals are properly recorded and counted as a referral. Third, family and community engagement tool provided by SCOE, the checklist, will be utilized throughout the year to support accurate data entry. For human resources or PLANIS, that the program design and management monitoring tool, along with the human resources checklist, will be utilized throughout the year to ensure compliance and effectiveness. Second, on your Head Start employees, including substitutes or anyone whose activities involve contact with and or direct services to children and families will complete the 4 background checks prior to the date of hire. For staff training, I requested training for my staff, my family service workers, going to provide that training under family referrals and data entry. I wanted to share some of they gave us some strengths and also some highlights, so I wanted to share some of them with you. So we have a strength under the health component. We implemented a new coordinated approach for the application process, which ensures that health histories were reviewed and completed with health staff. This approach ensures children with medication or additional health concerns were addressed prior to the first day of school. A strength under education. The agency's strategic implementation of intentional planning systems has led to the development of high-quality education programs. Education program specialists provide intensive ongoing support to classrooms and staff, ensuring seamless operations, adherence to timelines, and accurate completion of educational documentation. This is reflected in the mid to high curriculum fidelity scores and the absence of findings or concerns during this monitoring review. Really proud of my team. Under highlights, again under actually that was the strength. Education highlight, the agency maintains a consistent use of Learning Genie app across classrooms to document desired results, development to profile the ODP assessment to observations. The records include a wealth of detailed observations aligned with the measures supported by multiple forms of documentation such as photos, work samples, and written observations. Additionally, each file contains valuable parent contribution, including videos. That is huge. Another highlight, under program management, the case conferencing system is strong. It includes evidence of all component areas. Staff actively participate, providing intentional and meaningful insights to ensure effective, timely support and follow-up for children and families. And the last one, fiscal services, Marguerite, demonstrates strong organization and efficiency in managing its internal purchase order documentation system. All reviewed transactions included thorough documentation with detailed notes and appropriate supporting records. Love that. It is hard to get a highlight on business services. Marguerite. So here are our work to date and next steps. Our training for referral entry for our family service workers was conducted back on February 7th. And also reports were pulled from SCOE. They came and pulled all the reports to see how we were doing. That was on February 28th. And no errors were found. Everything was accurate, so happy with that. And then we talked to human resources and looked at all procedures for human resources as well. And the next steps are following training for referrals. We have another training with SCOE. They're going to be coming back March 24th. I believe that's next week. And then a check-in meeting with human resources as well. And that completes my presentation. Thank you. Are there any questions on the monitoring review?
Are there any questions? Ms. Ramirez?
I don't have a question, I just have a comment, and that was a very good report. I enjoyed talking to you on Saturday. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Mr. Shields?
All right, I'll start with Brand. My quick question for Mr. Urano possibly. When we missed those, they were on the substitute. So what was the situation? Or were they just being onboarded and onboarded too fast? I mean, what was their
So
the
employees
process time?
have been vetted through human resources. So we have a pool of paraprofessionals that support all sites. The ones that were selected to support this program did not receive that additional checklist. So it's just
Specifically.
random substitutes that were selected that weren't for that program. So they pulled from the general pool of substitutes.
Gotcha. Okay, that was the only thing. I just felt like it was one of those things that feels like it's one box that just didn't get checked or something, so. And we've identified a way to make sure that doesn't happen again.
That's correct. The great news is that all of our permanent employees that work in that program
Already checked that box.
did have that box checked.
Alright, thank you.
Live and learn.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
The amount
Ms. Jackson?
of the amount of rules and procedures that you all have to follow are just immense. And so for them to make a little mistake, I mean, I don't even think it's just, it's unheard of. I think I'm just always impressed with this program.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the public? Ms. Worthington, this is a great report. If I could have a motion.
I move to accept the report as presented.
My mistake, item 24 is the information item only. Let's move on to item 25. This is information action. Ms. Worthington.
Our third item is our refunding application. And we apply for our funding for Head Start on an annual basis. And so I provided to you two documents. One is the program service plan, the 2-page document, and then I provided a copy of the budget. That's a 3-page document that you have. So looking just to let you know, our program service plan for 2025-2026 will remain the same as 2024-2025. No changes will be made for 2025-2026. So we will continue to service 170 students for 170 days. From Cunningham and Osborne will continue to provide part-day services for 34 students at each site. Wakefield will continue with 68 students full day. And to ensure a high quality and safe program for 170 students, I will need to adhere to the teacher-to-child ratio requirement and to be in compliance with Title 22 Community Licensing Regulation. To effectively implement our program plan that we have in front of us, we'll require 10 teachers and 14 paraprofessionals to provide necessary support to all of our classrooms. So if we take a look at our budget on the first page, you'll see that the child health and development part of the budget, that's the majority of our Head Start budget. It is allocated to personal costs, including salaries and benefits. So that will be my whole educational team, my teachers and my parents. Then on the bottom, you see family and community partnership. Our big component for Head Start is our family component. So that would be my 5 family social workers that I will need to come back to our team. If you turn the page, on the second page you will see program design and management component. So you see the budget allocated for my office of support, my position as the director, and our Head Start custodian. And then on the last page of the report, you see supplies and equipment. We allocated funds for our supplies to implement our credit curriculum and our studies in our classrooms to support all of our students. Next on the bottom, you see sections on the third page, section 6H other. There's different items on that section. For example, Ready Rosie, that is our parenting curriculum. And then also
recruitment. We allocated funds for recruitment. We found with the data in our community assessment that one of our priorities was that we needed to, continue our recruitment efforts. So we allocated funds. And the other one too that we also found in our community assessment as a priority is staff training. So we allocated funds also for staff training. So this budget that we put together that we have here is to support our program plan that we have. And this concludes the information that I have for the budget and the program service plan. At this time, it is recommended that Board of Trustees approve the Head Start refunding documents for the 2025-2026 academic year.
Are there any questions? Any questions from the public? Do I have a motion?
I move that we accept the budget as presented.
I'll second.
Moved by Ms. Ramirez, seconded by Ms. Amy. And this is a roll call vote. Ms. Jackson? Ms. Carlson?
Aye.
Ms. Test?
Yeah.
Superintendent? Ms. Jackson?
Aye.
Ms. Amy?
Aye.
Ms. Martinez?
Aye.
Ms. Ramirez?
Aye.
Mr. Shields? Aye. Board President votes aye. Motion carries. Next item is item 26. Thank you very much, Ms. Worthley. Great information and good work. Ms. Solis?
Good evening, Board President Silva, Board Members David, and Executive Cabinet. This evening, Fusion Charter will present an information item about the renewal of the charter between Aspiranet for the 712 Fusion Charter and the district, Turlock Unified School District. The district is currently the granting agency of the charter school, and the renewal is for a term of 5 years, which would begin on July 1st, 2025 and go until June 30th, 2030. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to two folks from Fusion. We have Susan Nissan. She is the principal at Fusion Charter, and her assistant principal, David Ashby, from Fusion Charter as well.
Mr. President, Board of Trustees, Cabinet members, thank you for having us. My name is David Ashby. I'm the assistant principal at Fusion Charter School. I am here joined by Aspiranet's Chief Operating Officer, Jeannie Emilio, Susan Nissan, Counselor Mark Evanoff, and lead teacher Daniel Barra. Ladies and gentlemen, fusion, quick lesson in physics. Nuclear fission is the dividing of atoms to create energy. Fusion is the bringing together of those atoms. And that's what we're hoping to do tonight, to bring together our school and your district, to fuse them together. Good evening. We have about Fusion Charter. Fusion Charter is a program of Aspiranet. It's a free public school authorized by Turlock Unified School District in 2014. Fusion provided a unique educational alternative to Turlock students in grades 7 to 12. Fusion Charter is a recognized state leader in serving at-risk and homeless youth. Fusion has been a vital part of Turlock Unified School District community, offering an alternative learning environment where students receive academic, emotional, and social support. Fusion helps students who are behind in graduation credits get back on track and work towards their life goals. Fusion's educational model. We focus on credit recovery, social emotional learning, and special education services to help provide students get back on track, aligned with TUSD's vision for student success. Small class sizes, individual attention, nurturing, restorative practices, hands-on activities, and field trips engage students. Fusion offers daily supports on campus, online, from dedicated teachers, tutors, and counselors in a non-traditional independent study program. Fusion helps students who are behind in graduation credits get back on track for their life goals.
we have our Fusion in action. We see some of our photos here. These are photos of our greenhouse, our staff, and some other activities. And at the bottom center is a graduation. A testimonial from a student, a TUSD student. He reads, "Fusion was exactly what I needed to get back on track. From day one, I felt welcome and supported by my teachers and staff. They didn't just help me with my school, they helped me believe in myself again. While at Fusion, I was honored to be named Rotary Student of the Month, which showed me how much I had grown. Now, I'm back at Turlock High, and I am on track to graduate by May 2025. I'm really grateful for my time at Fusion, because without it, I don't know if I'd be where I am today." How Fusion supports TUSD students. We focus on credit recovery, social emotional learning, and special education services to help students get back on track, aligned with TUSD's vision for student success. You can notice at the top graphic there, graduation success, we have had 378 at-risk students are Fusion graduates. Some charts for you. Cumulative enrollments. This graph illustrates the total number of students enrolled at Fusion Charter each year, alongside the number of TUSD students we serve. The steady enrollment highlights the consistent demand for Fusion as a viable option for students needing credit recovery and a supportive learning environment. TUSD is a priority enrollment for students, and they make up 80% of the student enrollment in the 2023-24 year and 86% in the current 2024-25 year. Our graduates. This graph showcases the number of students who have graduated from Fusion Charter over the years, with a specific focus on TUSD graduates. As you can see, a substantial portion of our graduating class each year consists of TUSD students who might not have reached this milestone without the resources and flexibility Fusion provides. The number of graduates from 2015 through 2025 is 378, with a big 71% total coming from TUSD. This is our Fusion's Memorandum of Understanding with Turlock Unified. Supports TUSD's educational mission, funding and operational agreements, student support and referral process, annual performance review, and requirements. The charter renewal details, you have these, this in front of you, or you will have it shortly. This agreement is in place to maintain transparency and ensure that Fusion remains a valuable partner for TUSD. Fusion renewal based on student outcomes and fiscal compliance, covers educational programs, and aligns with the California charter laws, TUSD's goals, and AspireNet's nonprofit mission and vision. So, why renew Fusion's charter? Fusion isn't just an option, it's an essential part of TUSD's ecosystem. Renewing our charter means keeping a critical safety net in place for students who need it the most. Fusion provides a safety net for those students. Fusion also aligns with the goals and student support system. At this point, I'll take any questions.
It's my understanding that this program is a program that you use the term safety net. It helps support students that have gone through some traumatic experiences in their lives. And so that just maintains and supports the students so that they continue their educational process. Is that
That is correct, yes.
So they have the emotional and social support as well as their educational.
Yes, priority at Fusion Charter is the social and emotional needs. We cater to this support with using a restorative practice talking circles, and that is the hallmark of Fusion Charter. Every class, and we are 7th through 12th grade, every classroom does these circles. We have circles for everything. New student orientation, core attendance, rebuilding and supporting those students to gain better attendance, new employee interviews. Oftentimes I think we are going around in circles at Fusion.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
What is the difference, yeah, thank you. What is the difference from your charter school and Academy? Help me understand that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to answer that one. So, Academy also offers an independent study program, however, starting at the kindergarten level through 12th grade. So we are more focused on the older students at our school. And the situation for our students at Fusion is that many of them are referred by Mr. Ogden from the student services, particularly because they need something different. They come from Turlock High, they come from Pittman, they come from Turlock Junior High, sometimes from Roselawn, because they need a fresh start. And so we're able to offer them the kind of social emotional support first, so that then we can begin to work on the academics. And so in ours, in terms of what a day looks like for a student who is at Fusion, our emphasis is that students come on campus 90 minutes a day. Whereas in many independent study programs, traditionally, students would be meeting with a teacher only once a week. So they have that daily contact. We have a number of math tutors available, and we've heard this evening earlier at Roseland how important math is. Many of our students come without any math credits. They really have gaps, a lot of times from absences. Many of our students have had chronic absenteeism. And so, this gives them an opportunity to build back up to a much better level of attendance. And so, in terms of what our students experience, it is much more individualized than, say, a Roselawn program would be, but it's also more site-based than typically an Academy student might experience.
So you gear towards more the mental, emotional part of that student,
yes.
so that they can migrate back into traditional with their peers.
So we consider our school to be a trauma-responsive school. Many of our students have faced, even prior to the pandemic, many of our students had faced traumatic experiences, and now with so many students having had that compounded by the experiences of the pandemic, it's even more important than ever. And so we, in addition to the weekly circles that all students are participating in, which build their communication and their listening and speaking skills with their peers, we also have our counselor who is on campus and works with several counselor interns. So as you know, a big part of SpearNet is behavioral health and counseling. So we're very privileged to be a part of SpearNet. All of the training that we have goes far beyond the training that staff would have in a typical independent study program. So that our tutors, who we have some of the best young people just out of the university who come and work for Fusion for a year or two, either as tutors or interns, and so they're all able to get that training.
I appreciate it. I do foster care, so keep up the great work. Thank you.
I wanted to ask about the credit recovery part. Does that mean a student from high school comes to you to help recover credits so that they can move back into high school, or how does that work?
So the credit recovery program, the curriculum we use is called Edmentum. Edmentum is it's a all-in-one online program. So yes, oftentimes we see 9th and 10th graders coming to us from their home district, and they are severely behind in credits, specifically in English and in math. We offer them an opportunity to earn those credits, and if they choose to stay at Fusion, we can help them with that goal. If they choose to move back to Turlock Unified or their district of residence, we can help them with that. We're at their service and want them to help them achieve their goals.
I'd also like to say that for the second year this summer, we will be offering some additional credit recovery options to Turlock students from Turlock High and Pittman. So we have Mr. Daniel Vera here, who's our lead senior teacher who runs the summer school program. So students are able to come and take some electives and pick up 10 credits during June, while they're also simultaneously
picking up academic credits at Turlock Unified.
Mr. Shields? Yeah, I had a question. What's the average time a student from TUSD spends in your guys' program before they're going back to a traditional program?
I would say about 2 semesters.
About 2 semesters.
Oftentimes, so to return back to Pittman or Turlock High School, they cannot be that far behind in credits. It's about 10 credits or 2 classes. So we help build them those credits back up so they can return successfully back to the school that they came to.
Yeah, came to us from. And then this is probably more of an organizational question for you, but where do you guys get your funding? It's a nonprofit, correct?
It is SpearNet is our parent company, so yes, it is a family service nonprofit. A majority of our funds, just like any public school, it is the ADA, average daily attendance, is the main source of our funds. And then there's the federal title funds, so we get that too, but also that is tied to our attendance.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry. That's kind of along what I was gonna ask. How is that gonna affect TUSD's ADA? How does that affect our ADA?
Often the students who are referred don't bring in much ADA at Turlock Unified. Many of them have very low attendance. And so when they come into us and they have 70 or 80% attendance, they say, this is the most I've ever attended school for years. It's actually quite true. So we're able to actually help TUSD in that way by working with some students who honestly have been through every intervention that Turlock has had before. So these are students who, have not just shown up for the first day at the student services office. So we're really able to help in that way. I did want to say one more thing, and that is that we have a certain percentage of homeless students, and we've developed some really excellent techniques for identifying homelessness. That first circle that Mr. Ashby talked about is including a parent or guardian as well as the student. We're able to find out really what some of the needs are, and our role as not only a charter school but a community school helps us to connect up with many of the agencies that are in the area so that they get that kind of support as well, because we've been running about 20% of our students who are homeless.
Thank you for that clarification.
Ms. Jackson.
Thank you for the information. I learned more tonight than I have ever known about Fusion Charter, so I really appreciate that. And I just have a technical question that you might not know off the top of your head, but I am curious what your unduplicated count is.
Our unduplicated count, 87.5%. And you are all welcome to come to Fusion at any time and drop by and see some of the wonderful things that are going on there. We're just right there on the edge of town across from Cunningham, and we're really happy to be able to provide a high school option for the students who live in the community around us.
Thank you, Ms. Nisa.
Any other questions from the public? Well, thank you for your information. Let's move on to the next one. Please. California Healthy Kids Survey, item 27.
Right, good evening. This evening, I am presenting the annual summary of the district's 2024-2025 California Healthy Kids Survey Report. The California School Climate Health and Learning Survey, we use it as a tool. It provides us data. It also supports us in continuing to improve in school climate, pupil engagement, parent involvement, and academic achievement. And we also are required through the LCFF and LCAP that we're required to annually administer a local climate survey. So this is a local climate survey that we use as a district for local indicators. The survey was administered in November 2024 to grades 5, 7, 9, and 11. A total of 3,407 students took the survey. 441 fifth graders took the survey. It was a response rate of 50% and a decline from last year of about 10%. And I wanted to make sure I mentioned that at the elementary level, we have an active consent form. So schools were not able to administer the survey unless we get consent from parents. Whereas the secondary survey, it is passive consent. So unless a parent said, I wanted to opt my child or student out of the survey, we would automatically survey the student. The average over the last 3 years for the school engagement and supports indicators, and the indicators are on your left: school connectedness, caring adults in schools, parent involvement in schooling, and social and emotional supports. The average over the last 3 years is 75%. You notice on this slide we have a vertical orange line. For some of the indicators, we have state averages. So I want to highlight that parent involvement in schooling continues to remain high at 78%. Social and emotional support decreased by 5% from last year. And the district, we were above state averages in the following indicators: school connectedness with the district at 73%, state 72%, parent involvement in schooling, the district at 78%, and the state 76%. School safety also remains high at 77%. The district was slightly above the state average. The district was 77% and the state was 75%. Been hit or pushed is still in the low 30%. Called bad names or targeted mean jokes decreased by 1% from last year. Social and emotional health, frequent sadness declined by 2% from last year, and the indicator has been consistently in the teen numbers the last 3 years with an average of 18%. Substance use, alcohol or drug use lifetime was at 14%. Cigarette use lifetime and vaping lifetime is 2% or less. And there were no changes in the cigarette use and vaping from last year. It still remained at 2%. Slide 7 is it lists the type of supports for elementary students. It's not an exhaustive list. I wanted to just highlight a few. One of the highlights I'd like to highlight is the attendance incentives at the elementary level. Anywhere from the bucks, for example, Cougar bucks, are pretty exciting for our students to get, but the incentives have expanded to include things like little notepads, the hair clips for the female students, and water bottles. So they're really sought after by students, but helps in our getting students to school here. Also, I also want to make sure I mention that the critical role of our counselors and our mental health clinicians play in supporting student needs, social emotional needs, and with the implementation of Character Strong at the elementary level for social and emotional. And again, in the area of safety, our campus supervisors on campus, but also the expansion and our continued refinement of restorative practices such as restorative conversations by our administrators and our MTSS site specialists that they're having with students. And I want to also make sure I mention just our Family Resource Center, the services they provide, and all of you know, but we also couldn't, I don't know how we did without them before. So that was slide 7. Secondary, 2,966 7th, 9th, and 11th graders took the survey. We had a 93% response rate, and this was an increase of 7% from last year. All school engagement and support indicators had increases from the previous year. So here we go. Secondary, school connectedness, we had an increase of 7%. Caring adult relationships, we had 5%. And parent involvement in schooling, 1%. So although we still remain about like 50 to 55%, we are seeing increases where our students are feeling connected at school and that there is someone at school, an adult staff member, that they feel cares about them. School safety had a notable 7% increase from last year, and the overall 3-year average for experience in the harassment or bullying still remains about 26%. Experienced chronic sadness, hopelessness decreased by 4% from last year. And there's one question on the survey where it just asked secondary students, are you experiencing sadness and or hopelessness? It's either yes or no. And we had, I thought 4% is a significant reduction at our secondary level. There was no change in the percentage for the indicator considered suicide. It remained at 11%. Substance use at the secondary level, the average over the 3 years. Alcohol or drug use, lifetime, 13%. Cigarette use, lifetime, 6%. And vaping, lifetime, 7%. And Mary, I think you kind of always ask about vaping. I don't know if this is a trend of the district. We still see it kind of remained in right under around the 6 or 7%. Still hard yet to determine if it is a trend and really give it its accurate data on the vaping. So I just wanted to make sure I pointed that out.
Alice, can I ask you, when you say lifetime, that means they've used it in their life?
In their lifetime. So the responses will say 0, 1, just 1 to 3 times in their lifetime, and 3 or more in their lifetime. So it's just in their lifetime. Yeah. You're welcome. Next is secondary support. I want to highlight a few things, and I want to highlight something hot off the press. As you know, our sports, our extracurricular activities, and our clubs continue to support school engagement. Again, highlighting our counselors and our mental health clinicians, and highlighting just again the restorative conversations that are happening at our schools, not only elementary and secondary, but they are making a difference, and our data shows it. And one of the things I want to highlight is SCOE, our County Office of Ed, completed their PBIS walks this last week. They visited all of our schools with the exception of E Academy, and I just wanted to share some data. So they interviewed staff. I went out to a few on Friday. They interviewed staff on the spot. They interviewed students on the spot. And I want to highlight a couple of questions in areas. Let me start with students. So they'll ask students, are you aware or can you name your school-wide expectations? And out of all the 14 schools, we had 91% of our students that knew they're safe, responsible, respectful. Now we have some schools like Earl who has SEEK, but a high percentage of our students are aware of those behavior expectations. They can name them, and they can even give you examples. The next question under students was, have you earned any of the bucks? So they'll go after this, the school mascot. And again, we are in the high 90%. And they also go into, they ask staff the same. Are you aware? Can you name the school-wide behavior expectations? And that was 92%. So in closing, I wanted to say a couple of things, and that is the data continues at the elementary level to remain about the same, no significant increases or decreases. But secondary, even though we kind of average around that 50 to 55%, notable increases in just the response rate, school connectedness with a plus 7%, caring adults plus 5%, school safety plus 7%, and that decrease in the sadness, chronic sadness or hopelessness decreasing by 4%. So if you say what is the data showing or saying, I would say that the data is supporting that the interventions, other means of correction, PBIS, both administrators, teachers, classified staff involved, it is making a difference for our students, and the data is showing it. Are there any questions that I could answer?
Ms. Carlson.
Thank you, Ms. Solis. thank you for highlighting the positives and the good, we're moving in the right direction. And I appreciate that and that you're pointing that out to us. I wanted to just wonder out loud with you on slide 3 about the social and emotional learning supports dropping from 79% last year to 74% this year on the elementary. Because it feels like that's just surprising to me. I don't know if you have any guesses about what might have happened there.
It surprised me, and so here's
And I have been a historic champion, right,
Yes.
of the social emotional wellness and supports for students. And so I know we made some changes in the last year, so I just
Yeah, and that surprised me as last year, so what I went to the questions that were asked for students. So here are the type of example questions that are asked on the elementary survey. Does your school help or resolve conflicts with one another? I went, we have counselors, we have community liaisons, I mean, like, the supports are there. Another type of a question that they're asked, does your school teach students how to care about each other and treat each other with respect? I can go to any one of our elementary schools, and we had our board tour just a few weeks ago, and you've seen evidence of character strong. So here is my conclusion. My conclusion is we had a 10% reduction in the response rate. And just a reminder is, so that means we had less parents giving the district permission to assess. So it is a data point, but my conclusion is that we had approximately, let me write, I had it here, we had approximately almost 100 less students take the survey. Although our elementary schools do a fabulous job, they'll work with their 5th graders, they send out a parent square. I think that's part of it. Because the data is showing, we got data from, the number of students our counselors see, our mental health clinicians, the number of small groups, and then the number of students that are receiving tier 2 in our classrooms as well as tier 3. So I will keep an eye on it, but that is my conclusion.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Jackson?
Thank you. I think that actually might be a component because we've invested, but we also have to give it some time. Sometimes I think we expect instant fixes, and it's not going to be that quick. I think the one thing that I found to be troubling was that 1/3 of our kids, or 30% of them, have been hit or pushed, and so that I'm just like, ugh. But the biggest thing was the different parental involvement in schooling between elementary and secondary, and I don't know how do we get. Our secondary parents cannot just be giving up. That's when they need you more so. I don't know how we educate our parents that, okay, once they hit junior high, you can let go. You need to, actually need to dig in.
Yeah, and our trend has been, even pre-COVID, a little higher since pre-COVID, we were around the 40%, but we are about like that 50 to 55%, but it is a notable increase for secondary.
And maybe I'll ask, but I just don't think they'll admit it, honestly.
It is an anonymous survey, and it is a data point, but other data points that we look at, the type of, if it is a referral at the school sites. So we do look at other measures to give us, a picture of what is happening on our campuses.
But I do appreciate the data, and I think it's really important, and I hope that, you can just see the difference between like a year after the pandemic, the changes, and so just hopefully more time.
It's just a comment. I just want to thank the efforts of administration at all sites for working with PBIS. It is something that was integrated, and as you can see, it really does help. So keep up the great work. Took us a long time to get it, but we're there. Thank you.
From the public? We'll move on to the next item. Mr. Silvera. This is an action item, 28.
That's correct. Good evening, President Silva, members of the board, Superintendent Laddick, and executive cabinet members. Tonight, I am honored to present the outcome of our recent negotiations with TFCE. Item 28 is an action item recommending revisions and additions resulting from these discussions. Before reviewing specific recommendations, I would like to recognize Nellie Tovar, TFC Treasurer. She express my sincere appreciation for the collaborative and solution-based approach that was demonstrated throughout our negotiation process. TFCE's leadership engaged in negotiations with a high level of professionalism, efficiency, and shared commitment to ensure clear and comprehensive agreements that benefit both their members and the district. This year's negotiation resulted in a tentative agreement that enhances readability and clarifies previously unaddressed areas of our contract. I would like to extend my gratitude to TFCE and their team for their diligence and partnerships during our discussions. Additionally, I'd like to recognize our district's negotiation team, including Fernando Ureno, Marjorie Betancourt, Robert Brogdon, Louisa Power, and Janine O'Kalian for their expertise and dedication. A special thank you to Charlene as well for her invaluable support for all of us throughout this process. It is recommended that the board approve the proposed amendments to the TFCE agreement, including the associated salary schedule, which provides a one-time off-scheduled compensation payment to TFCA members, meaning that the hourly rates would remain status quo. I'd be happy to answer any questions of the board before voting.
Thank you, Mr. Silvera. Questions? Questions from the public? Do we have a motion?
I'll move to accept the revisions and additions to the agreement with TUSD and TFCE.
Second?
Moved by Ms. Jackson, seconded by Ms. Carlson. This is a roll call vote. Ms. Carlson?
Aye.
Ms. Jackson?
Aye.
Ms. Amy?
Aye.
Ms. Martinez?
Aye.
Ms. Ramirez?
Aye.
Mr. Shields?
Aye.
And Board President votes aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Great work, thank you.
Yep, item 29 pertains to our upcoming negotiations with CSEA. At a previous meeting, we held the required public hearing, but formal board approval of the district's sunshine proposal is still required before we can officially begin negotiations with CSEA on March 25th. It's recommended that the Board of Trustees adopt the district's initial sunshine proposal for the 24-25 reopener negotiations with CSEA, allowing us to proceed with our negotiations beginning next week.
Are there any questions? Public? Can I have a motion?
I move to accept the initial proposal for the district.
I'll second the motion.
Moved by Ms. Ramirez, seconded by Mr. Shields. Let's see, this is a roll call vote. Ms. Carlson?
Aye.
Ms. Jackson?
Aye.
Ms. Amy?
Aye.
Ms. Ramirez? Ms. Martinez?
Aye.
Ms. Ramirez?
Aye.
Mr. Shield?
Aye.
Board President votes aye. Next item, Mr. Silvera's item 30.
To better support the needs of our special education staff, district administration has identified the need for a new classified position within the TFCE bargaining unit. The proposed classification is Data Systems Specialist, Special Education. It's recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the new job description effective March 18, along with the revised TFCE salary schedule. Director Shantz or I would be happy to answer any questions the board may have regarding this new position.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? From the public? If I can have a motion?
I'll move to accept the recommendation.
I'll second it.
Moved by Mr. Shields, seconded by Ms. Jackson. This is a roll call vote. Ms. Carlson?
Aye.
Ms. Jackson?
Aye.
Ms. Amy?
Aye.
Ms. Ramirez? Martinez?
Aye.
Sorry. Let's see, what is it here? Ms. Ramirez? Mr. Shield?
Aye.
Aye.
Board President votes aye, motion carries. I'm sorry about that. Brain dead. Okay, next item is item 31. Mr. Silvera?
Yeah, item 31 is an action item for board approval of the updated salary schedules for our non-bargaining unit classified confidential and student support employees. These revised salary schedules would reflect a one-time off-schedule increase of 1.5%, meaning no change to the hourly rates of these employees. and it would reaffirm the district's commitment to equitable and competitive compensation for our dedicated classified staff. It's recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the updated salary schedules as presented.
Are there any questions or comments? The public? I can have a motion?
I move to accept the updated salary schedules.
I'll second.
Moved by Ms. Carlson, seconded by Mr. Shields. This is a roll call vote. Ms. Carlson?
Aye.
Ms. Jackson?
Aye.
Ms. Amy?
Aye.
Ms. Martinez?
Aye.
Ms. Ramirez?
Aye.
Mr. Shields?
Aye.
I don't know who the board president is, but he votes aye. Business services. We have Ms. Voorhees, item 32.
Good evening, President Silva, board members, Superintendent Laddig, student reps, and executive cabinet. I'm here to present action item 32, transportation plan 2024-2025. Under the Ed Code 39800.1, as a condition of receiving the apportionments for transportation services, we shall develop a plan describing the transportation services. And this is to provide transportation to eligible TK through 6th graders at no cost to the students who are low income. The plan includes students with disabilities. I'm sorry. Go to the next slide. There we go. Sorry about that. Students with disabilities, homeless children, and youth. TUSD offers free home-to-school transportation to all eligible students under the AR Administration Regulation 3541. Students are eligible for busing based on distance as established. 1 mile for elementary, 1 mile for middle school, 2 miles for junior high, and 3 miles for high school. In accordance with Board Policy 0410, transportation services is offered to homeless foster youth and students with disabilities. Services are provided with our school bus district busing. Currently we have 35 routes, as well as the city transit, Turlock Transit, which is free, and we contract with Kingo and Stora Transportation. We have been able to identify eligible bus riders with our routing software, Route Finder. The program provides access to view demographics of TK through 6th grades, which is 46.6% eligibility. AB Bill 579 was signed on October 2023 that requires all school buses to be zero emission starting January of 2035. On December 2022, we applied for EV bus grants with San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution District. As of November of 2024, all 9 buses we applied for have been received. Completion of the infrastructure with bus chargers is currently in progress and scheduled for completion by the end of this month. With a total of 24 chargers installed, half of them are fast chargers, which equates to charging a bus in 2 hours. The additional are overnight chargers, which are about 8-hour timeline. We understand that home-to-school transportation is a critical component So we have been increasing our busing to choice schools, Osborne, Wakefield, and Walnut. And we have had an increase in ridership since we've started, and we're about 1,000 students a month with just our choice schools. We've also, with the expansion of transportation, our yard, it's been a tremendous just awesome thing to be able to expand our yard for additional buses and to be able to provide charging for 24 buses at some point in the future. As we continue to grow, we also continue the efforts to recruit and retain bus drivers. That's going to be ongoing. So at this time, it is recommended that the board accept the 2024-2025 transportation plan. And may I answer any questions?
Any questions? Ms. Jackson?
Are we still transporting the students from Wakefield and Osborne to go to Dutcher for the immersion program? I'm assuming we are. We have been.
For the immersion program?
Sixth grade.
Sixth grade.
Oh, yes, sorry.
And 7th and 8th grade. Or
Yes.
are they not? Yeah, you're doing 6 to 8.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Ms. Ramirez?
I just had a comment. Okay, so according to AR 3541, high school students could walk up to 3 miles. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. For in-town kids, that's great. But I'm thinking of the kids that live out in the country, which are the 9th through 12th graders. 3 miles is a long time to, it's a far away walk, especially it's cold, it's foggy. Is there any way, is there plans to perhaps maybe shorten that walk a little bit?
You know, so for like Turlock High School, all of the country, Chatham, all that area, they are automatically eligible for transportation. So all of those high school students in that area are transported to Turlock High, and then Pittman, we also have all the students that live in the Keys area, that's less than 3 miles, they're also transported to Pittman High School.
Okay, but they can walk up to 3 miles.
That is our board policy, however, those are the exceptions that we have made because there is no safe way for them to be able to walk to school. So we do provide busing for Pittman and Turlock High.
So if we wanted to shorten that, that's something that the board would have to look into? Is that correct? Okay,
That's correct.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Shields?
Are we pursuing any more grants or funding for new buses, new electric buses?
Currently, there is nothing out there. As soon as there is, I will be applying.
Yeah. So out of those 9 buses, what's the range on the buses, the electric buses?
That's a good question, and they all vary depending on the operator, really. So we can go anywhere from 72 miles to, I've seen maybe 95 miles. Operator makes a difference, and also the weather.
How's the weather?
Colder, actually.
Colder.
Colder, yes, because the heat draws a lot of that energy from the battery. That's what we're learning. You know, we haven't implemented all the 9 buses all at once because we don't have enough chargers. Hopefully by the end of this month, when all of that is completed, we'll be able to have all the buses into service. Definitely for summer school, we will have all of our buses will be running, all the EV buses will be utilized for summer school with all AC units.
Yeah. So as somebody who grew up riding the bus, because we kind of lived out in the country, and then riding the bus to the junior high, I really appreciate what all of our bus drivers do and the care that they have for students. I know when I was in junior high, it was real foggy, like 6:30 in the morning getting picked up, and it was like an hour-long bus ride to school. But I really always appreciate the effort that our bus drivers put into getting to know their students, to getting to know the locations that are best to drop off those students. So I really appreciate it, and I know in the state we are moving towards that goal of electrifying everything, and so I really am hopeful that that we will continue to see grant opportunities come our way because essentially 9 million for 9 buses is not the best return on investment in my opinion. But and again, that doesn't include the electricity that costs, right? So hopefully we'll see some more of those grant opportunities come our way. Again, we saw state budget and what that's going to look like hopefully in May, and who knows, maybe the air pollution districts and things like that can help us out a little bit again. But so thank you so much, I really appreciate it.
Thank you, and thank you for that comment on the bus drivers. They do work tremendously hard out there, and I'll keep anytime the grants come up, I'll be applying for them.
And I wanna jump in if you don't mind. So the buses were about $3.6 million, so it wasn't $9 million for the 9 buses. Roughly the same as a diesel bus, to be honest with you. The infrastructure was the additional $5 million, so, but that all.
That's required. I mean, like we're at the point where you're gonna pay essentially, if it's 3.6 for the buses, and then you have another 6 million for infrastructure.
Which is complete now, so
Yeah,
like.
for all 24 charges,
For all 24 chargers.
we have all the charges in place already.
Yes. Yeah, so we have 24 chargers, so 2 different projects, the 5 point whatever was the infrastructure that is now in place. And we can support up to 24 buses with those chargers. The buses are approximately $450,000 a piece, which is not that far off from a diesel bus. They're about the same price for the buses themselves. So I just wanted to clarify that for you, and also for Ms. Ramirez. I wanna make sure that I understand, like, our students from Chatham don't walk 3 miles to their bus stops.
They do not. No, we have routes all in that area
Yeah,
for
so-
Turlock, and it's also Turlock Junior High that we pick up, and then also our Turlock High School students in that area.
Yeah, so it's 3 miles from the school site, so like those students that are out in the country are not walking 3 miles out in the country with no sidewalks. I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay, because I'm being told that they are walking a long way, so I'll have to find out exactly. Maybe it's just, maybe 2 miles, but still 2 miles to me.
If you can get specific students or specific parents, we would look into that.
Oh, I will be.
My question is, Modesto has sort of been the test run for electric buses. Have we talked to them about how they were doing? So remember a couple years ago at CSBA, there was a whole discussion about, well, you know, we don't know how long they're gonna last if they've been used during the day and then they go into a sporting event, will they get stuck somewhere? I mean, there's all these things that you really don't think about, that are really important. So I was really excited that they were gonna test it out first and they can give us the benefits.
We
The
have
positives and negatives.
Sorry, we have communicated with Modesto City Schools. I've sent our school bus training officer to meet there with the training. I've gone out there myself and had a tour. They have 30 EV buses. And I believe this is year 2 of their EV buses, although that generation is the 3rd generation, we have the 4th generation. So each generation gets better. So that as far as distance, it's all gonna depend on their range and how far they're traveling. We've used some of our EV buses on study trips, but just within like Turlock or even like Houston if it's an athletic trip. So we do have to be careful with the range and monitor the distance on the travel.
Yeah, I know I was at their, when they got their 30th bus delivered. It's really impressive, the structure that they built and how many of their buses are electric. And I'm very interested to see how it benefits their district, just the size
We
of it.
rode around on it in the board tour.
Yeah.
All around the yard, didn't we?
They are really nice too, and
Two board
everything
tours,
I've been told about them is that air conditioning in the electric buses is like the best air conditioning.
It is really good. I mean, there's some little glitches, you know, and we're learning and figuring out. But they're very quiet and they drive very smooth and they are very cool.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Public?
I had a quick question on that. Does that consider any potential servicing and maintenance savings that we may get from the use of these?
Well, the service, we won't have an engine to service. It's all operated by the batteries.
Right.
So I'm sure we'll have some cost savings there. We haven't been able to measure it, yet because we've just implemented the buses into service as of December. And I'm sorry, what was your other question?
Of maintenance and service.
Maintenance, yes, and then the service, there'll be a service, but it's not as intense as a
Right.
diesel bus.
So are we expecting a savings?
We are expecting a savings, and I don't know exactly what that's gonna look like until we, have all our buses in service and running, and then do some comparison there. You're welcome. And
Any other
savings
questions?
in fuel, yes.
Any other questions from the public? Ms. Flores, that's great information.
Thank you.
I can have a motion?
I'll move to accept.
I'll second.
Moved by Ms. Amy, seconded by Ms. Jackson. This is a roll call vote. Ms. Jackson?
Aye.
No.
Ms. Carlson?
Aye.
Ms. Amy?
Aye.
Ms. Martinez?
Aye.
Ms. Ramirez?
Aye.
Mr. Shields? Aye. And the board president votes aye. Thank you very much. Great report. Okay, the last item on the agenda is administration's action item, item 33. And let's see, how do we do this here? In connection with this agenda item, approval of the employment agreement for district superintendent, the board is required by law to report out a summary of the salary and fringe benefits contained in the agreement. Term of employment agreement is July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. Compensation, superintendent's 2025-26 salary and benefits will be the same as they are for the 2024 and 2025, except that he may work up to 5 additional days in excess of his contracted work year, in which case he shall be paid at a daily rate. Annual salary is $265,000. Fringe benefits, entitlements to the district contribution, health and welfare, as are provided to other certificated management employees of the district. The district issued a laptop, tablet, and other wireless email device, and a smartphone. Payment of membership dues to Rotary International Club is not to exceed $1,000 and to ACSA. Can I have a motion?
I motion to approve Mr. Latham's 1 year.
Moved by Ms. Martinez,
Second.
second by Ms. Carlson. Are there any other questions about this motion? Any comments from the public? Well, I have to jump in here because at the Occupational Olympics this last week, I had a teacher come up to me and tell me that when she was a new teacher and she needed some help because she was worried about curriculum and books and all that stuff, Mr. Lowry assured her the most important thing was to build relationships and work with her students so that they can succeed. And that really said a lot to me about that. In fact, I'll share who the teacher was, Miss Mohini Singh. It was at the Olympics where her program was just doing exceptional. And so I think that says a lot. Any other questions or comments? Okay, let's have a roll call vote. Ms. Carlson?
Aye.
Ms. Jackson?
No.
Ms. Amy?
Aye.
Ms. Martinez?
Aye.
Ms. Ramirez?
Aye.
Mr. Shields? Aye. And the board president votes aye. Motion carries. Congratulations.
Yeah, where do I sign? Super excited to be part of this government scheme. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, let's go into board reports. Oh, If you guys don't wanna be bored out of your skulls, board reports, you can be excused. And that's it.
Okay, I'm gonna be quick because I'm tired. The Festival on the Green was amazing, and I wanna say to Mr. Aka and Miss Santos, I wish that there was a math mission statement like this when I was a student, because this is really good stuff, and I read it in the superintendent report, but when you just said it again, in, the one that you did here, the idea that we should have intellectual risk taking, that's amazing. And also, real world connections, I remember always saying, how is this ever gonna mean anything to my math teacher? And then, an inclusive environment that promotes productive struggle. I just love it. It's just very, great work. Thank you for that.
Well, I just want to thank, I always try to thank the staff who are behind the scenes of Festival on the Green. All the custodians who are moving things, the mics, the teachers, even though they've been there since probably 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and are there until 4 or 5, are still there smiling, working hard with their students, tuning music, tuning instruments. And I tried to thank everyone that I saw that was moving stuff. So again, thank you. We have I always talk about our phenomenal music program, and that our students don't know how fortunate they are until you talk to parents in other districts about what they pay for. So again, kudos to everyone.
Yeah, it was Festival of the Green too, and it was amazing. We had very talented musicians, and it was a great event for the students, for family, for the neighborhood, and the weather cooperated with making it a great sunny day.
I had the privilege of going to the Every Student Succeed Award. It was a breakfast, and that was really, really benefiting to me to see that our disadvantaged children are also being acknowledged, and our special ed students were being acknowledged, and it was just really heartfelt, and I just really enjoyed that award presentation. I went to 2 LCAP meetings last week. I also attended the Festival on the Green, and I helped out in the Resource Center. Thanks, Marie. And so I will also be helping out distributing food on Thursday, and tomorrow I will be supporting John over at Turlock High. And that concludes my report.
I just want to add the kudos for the Occupational Olympics. Not only did it, showcase our students, but what I really liked also are the vendors that were there. And when I was talking to some of the companies, they offer trainings for our students. And whenever there's a management position, they like to look within their companies that have gone through the training. So I really appreciate that, because let's just face it, not all students are college bound, but they could still be career bound, right? And we want them to be good citizens, so I thought that was really great. Also, Festival on the Green, exactly what everyone else said, so I won't go into that. But one thing that I really appreciated is all of the schools that were represented in the booths. What I really appreciated was the culture celebrations that we had in the Festival of the Green, but also the booths. If a Punjabi family walked up to a booth, there was a Punjabi individual, staff person that can communicate. If hablo Portuguese, there was someone there in Portuguese, habla Español, there was someone there. And so it really not only was the festivities of showcasing our students, but it was reflective, the staff was reflective of our demographics. And that's something to really be proud of. And I just wanted to make that
Just a couple of little things coming up here for some of you to think about. The supervisor Chiesa, the Stanislaus County Board of Supervisors, is going to be recognizing Pat Portwood, who is a member of our community. Here at the library, there's a plaque dedication in her honor on April 2nd at 6 p.m. I believe that is a Wednesday night. If you're available to attend, there's also gonna be a reception followed, hosted by the Friends of the Library. Our library serves as a great resource to our students and our community, outside of our school libraries. I would hope that you guys will be able to join us for that. I look forward to it. It's one of those things that recognizing members of our community who make a massive impact like Ms. Portwood did, it is super important, and it gets a plaque in her honor and her memory. And then another event that's coming up pretty soon here, there's a new Cinco de Mayo celebration coming to Turlock, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm gonna ask our superintendent to get in contact with the coordinator of this and see if we can get our bands out there to put on a show, because it's gonna be something that's happening here in Turlock on May 3rd, and it's one of those opportunities I think for our students to be highlighted and showcased again to our community, and getting our students involved in community organizations. So that's all for my report. Thank you.
Thank you. The preparation between schools, especially the mariachi bands, and their performance was excellent. There's kids that are different schools come together and perform like they've been together forever. And I was really impressed with that. And all the teachers that work from the youngest kids are just now starting, which will be our future ones that'll knock our socks off. I think that's just amazing. So anyway, everybody's to be commended, and I could tell Anna that I helped with the Portuguese interpretation. I know all the bad words. Anyway, let's see, we need a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Then we adjourn, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed nay. Motion carries. Thank you for staying over, appreciate it very much.